Hello, today I'm going to be discussing the first exam solutions. People did quite well, I should say. I'm very pleased, so hopefully this won't take too long or be too confusing. Let's go ahead and start from question 1. So, which option below correctly describes the sentence? If Fido is a dog, then Fido is a mammal. So here's some options. This is a conditional sentence whose antecedent is Fido is a dog and whose consequent is Fido is a mammal. As you can see, it's got the nice little green check mark there indicating that this is in fact the right answer. So it is a conditional. Anytime you have if and then, you have a conditional sentence. And the first part here of a conditional sentence is the antecedent. Ante means first or coming before, and the consequent is over here, con. Now, these other possible solutions, you might call them, get some of this backwards. So this one says the antecedent is Fido as a mammal. That is exactly backwards. This third option says it's an argument, or claims that this is an argument, but that is not true. It's not an argument. There's no conclusion. And this final option here claims that it's valid. That is also not correct, because this is not an argument, and only arguments are valid according to our characterization of validity. So that's question 1. We'll move over here to question 2. Which of the following is impossible? An argument is valid, has at least one false premise, and has a true conclusion. An argument that is valid has all true premises and a true conclusion. An argument that is valid has at least one false premise and one false conclusion. An argument that is valid has all true premises and a false conclusion. What do you think? Remember that little diagram with arguments in a circle and then a subcircle of those? Valid arguments and a subcircle of the valid arguments are sound arguments. Now, soundness doesn't really come up here, but at least that valid and argument subset relationship should help you get clear about which of these is correct. And it's this one. An argument that is valid has all true premises and a false conclusion. That is just right in contrast to the definition of validity. Remember, validity is defined as argument such that if all of its premises are true, then the conclusion has to be true. So you can't have true premises and a false conclusion. Consider this, number 3, following argument. If Barack Obama was the president of the United States and all horses are green, therefore all horses are green. Options, trading off between validity and soundness. If you'll note here that green check mark indicates this argument is valid and unsound. Think about it. Is it valid? Yes. Barack Obama was the president and all horses are green. If that is true, then it follows that all horses are green, right? Because if one is true, all horses have to be green. All horses are green is part of one. For one to be true, Barack Obama was the president. It has to be the case that Barack Obama was the president, and it has to be the case that all horses are green. Okay? So we're at this point only looking at these two options right now. Sound. Is it sound? Well, have you ever seen a horse? Have you ever seen a non-green horse? Okay. Of course you have. If you've seen a horse at all, you've likely seen a non-green horse. This argument is not sound because line 2 is false. Okay? So again, validity. If the premises are true, then the conclusion has to be true. This argument is valid. Are the premises true? No. Premise 1 is false. Barack Obama was in fact the president of the U.S., but it's not the case that all horses are green. All right, 4. If determinism is true, then which of the following is impossible? Some events have causes that we can't discover. No, that's not really entailed by determinism. Some actions have causes that are so complex that humans can't describe them. Again, determinism is really not involved in making claims of that nature. Some actions are caused by events that have no cause. Yeah, right, because determinism is the thesis that every event has a cause. So it can't be the case that some actions are caused by events that don't have causes. Now, you might be inclined to say that some events cause nothing as being impossible. That's not exactly impossible according to this view. So determinism just says that every event has a cause. It doesn't say that some events don't cause anything. All right. Question 4. If hard determinism is true, then which of the following must also be true? See that little green check mark. Every decision is caused by a prior event. This is, of course, the definition of hard determinism. It doesn't mean that human beings never make decisions to act. It's just that those decisions are caused. It doesn't mean that some actions are not events. No, hard determinism, if it's true, then all actions are going to fall into the category of events. In any event, it's not the case that humans' beliefs and desires never cause or help cause their own actions. It's just that those desires and beliefs have themselves causes. All right, question 6. If libertarianism is true, then which of the following must be true? Here's the answer. Some person is morally responsible for an action that he or she agent caused. I unpacked this here because I don't want you to get confused. So look, libertarianism is compatible with some action being caused by beliefs and desires. Okay, so it doesn't follow from it that no action is ever caused by an agent's beliefs and desires. All right, so that should have been an easy one. Here's the tricky one. There are no actions that are both agent and event caused. That is true according to libertarianism, and every action is one or the other. Hence, and I have heard that the second and third options can be eliminated. This should be the second and fourth options. I misspoke there. So because if you look at 2, some action is both agent caused by an agent and event caused by the agent's beliefs and desires. No. Fourth option is some actions have no agent or event cause. No, right? It's always one or the other. So the process of elimination here is some person is morally responsible for an action that he or she agent caused. And that is, in fact, entailed by libertarianism as we've set it up, because at least one person acts freely. Moving to number 7. If typical soft determinism is true, then which of the following must be true? You see, some person is morally responsible for an action that was causally determined by prior events. Remember, typical soft determinism is a flavor of determinism. It's just that when we act freely, we do so our actions are caused under certain circumstances. Doesn't mean that incompatibilism is true. It doesn't mean that every action that has a cause is a free action. That is certainly not true. Some things are just actually causally determined. It doesn't mean every decision of every person is causally determined by that person's prior beliefs and desires. There could be other things that causally determine the person's decisions that are not belief or desire based. Number 8, if error in soft determinism is true, then which of the following is impossible? Check it out. According to this view, if an agent performs an act freely, then the act is caused by a standard volition. Which is a volition? Now, an agent might perform an action that's not caused by a standard volition, but this will just not be a free act. So 2 is eliminated. You can perform an action that's not caused by a standard volition. Okay? That's just not a free act. So similarly, an agent might have desires and causes that desires that cause no actions or volitions. So this one's not impossible. All right, number 9. If Cartesian dualism is true, then which of the following is impossible? Look, this should be straightforward. Some minds are spatially extended. That is impossible, right? Because according to Cartesian dualism, minds are not spatially extended. Doesn't mean bacteria have immaterial minds, or that minds do not cause events in bodies, or bodies do not cause events in mind. In fact, those might in fact be true according to this view. In fact, there has to be some kind of relationship, but this minds are spatially extended, just directly opposed to the definition of Cartesian dualism that we've been working with. All right, last question, number 10. If Cartesian dualism is true, then it's possible for there to be a human being who does not think but who behaves just like one who does. If this is possible, then no human being knows whether any other human being thinks. So if Cartesian dualism is true, then no human being knows whether any other human being thinks. Now, it's not the case that no human being knows whether any other human being thinks. So Cartesian dualism can't be true. I asked you to consider this and circle the answer that best describes the reply that we discussed from Descartes. It's this. Line 1 is false according to Descartes, because CD is true, and CD entails that it is impossible for there to be a human being who does not think. He thought any human being, anything that it has a mind, who would count as a human being, on his view is such that they have to be thinking. Remember, a crucial, necessary, intrinsic property of minds is that they're thinking things. And so, to be a human being, according to Descartes, you'll have to have a mind, and to have a mind, you'll have to think. Now, you might quibble over whether that is an appropriate definition of human being, and some people have, but that is Descartes' line.